Hello guys, Fuzz here, welcome back to Final Fantasy VIII as we storm through the third disc here, making our way through the game. It's all very exciting, we're making good progress here and I'm really enjoying myself playing the game, and I hope you are enjoying watching and following along as well. If you are, don't forget to just hit that like button, and thanks so much for all your support, and thanks for those who have supported me on Patreon as well. That means a great deal to me. Today we're going to start by doing something a little bit special. We're going to get another Guardian Force, at least that's the plan anyway. So to begin with, I'm going to make sure that I have the items that are needed, which I know I do, but I'm actually going to show you so that you can make sure you've got the items that are needed if you are following along with me. And if you are following along, you should have them because I did instruct you to get these items. It is 6 Remedy Plus and 6 steel pipes. I've got 7, but we only need 6. And finally, the hardest item is 6 Marlborough Tentacles. If you're not sure how to get any of these items, head back to part 38, I believe it was, which is the episode with the White Seed ship. And the second half of that episode, after that whole White Seed ship stuff, I do go into detail on how you can collect 6 of these 3 different items, which we are going to need before we head over to the next area. I'd also recommend either using Encounter None or renting the car, because at this point you can get random enemy encounters, most of which are quite annoying, but just bear that in mind as well, even on these streets and roads, etc, etc. So, where are we heading to? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. We are going to be heading, you can see by the way, I should say before we move on, that once we reach the world map at this stage in the game, all these other points do open up for us, even though we haven't visited them yet. Okay, so we are going to be heading over to Tears Point. It's an optional area, but because we're going for the optional Guardian Force, we are going to want to make our way over there now. Okay, so it can be a little bit confusing navigating around Esther, since we can only drive or walk or run on the paths and roads. So from the exit, we're going to head right onto this blue path slash road here, because we want to be aiming north, since that's the way that's going to lead us out of this place so that we can make it to the next destination, which was Tears Point. And if we head across this road here, and then across this blue road here to the exit just up here, and that'll bring us back onto the main area of the world map. Probably use a little bit of fuel if you are in your car, so just make sure you've got enough. And we're just going to be making our way down to the kind of corner section of this part of the map. Now we are kind of enclosed in this area, but fortunately Tears Point, which is where we're heading to, is also in this area as well. So just show you on the map, that's where we're going. Okay, so I came out north here, which is the only path available then to Tears Point. We just came round and here we are. So we'll just reverse back a bit so we can exit our car. And we're here to collect the final item that is needed in order to acquire our new Guardian Force. Couple of draw points if you want to grab them. This one here contains life, although I'm fully stocked up on life, so I'm not going to pick that one up. And then we head into this kind of strange structure here in the centre of Tears Point. So the music's quite strange, isn't it? You know, a bit depressing. Another draw point there. I believe that one's Reflect, but again, I'm stocked up on that. And this item on the floor is really what we're here for, so we'll pick that up. And then we should have the Solomon Ring, the 6 Remedy Pluses, the 6 Steel Pipes, and the 6 Marlborough Tentacles. And now what we're looking for is the Solomon Ring. And with all of those items in our possession, by the way, the Occult Fan magazines actually give you hints on those items that you need to get, these 4 magazines, but I never thought they were really that helpful. You don't actually need to get them, by the way, in order to complete the quest. You just need to get the items that are required. But anyway, once we've got those items, so once again, final time, Solomon Ring, 6 Remedy Plus, 6 Steel Pipes, 6 Marlborough Tentacles. Just use the Solomon Ring And we get a little bit of dialogue here within the item menu. And a brand new Guardian Force. No fight this time like there was with the Magical Lamp where we had to fight Diablos. We just get prompted to name our new Guardian Force. And I'm going to stick with the defaults as usual. This case it is Doomtrain. And we're going to check that out now. Here he is. Guardian Force Doomtrain. He looks rather sinister, it has to be said. In terms of abilities, he's got some new ones for us. The Status Defense and Elemental Defense ×4 abilities are both going to be very useful for us. And we are going to prioritise them. But first of all, I recommend learning the Another Refinement ability, which in this case is Refine Forbidden Medicine. So we're going to prioritise learning this. And then you'll want to learn these two abilities next, followed by Auto Shell, which is also particularly useful, but you don't always get the ability space in order to use this. So, although it's useful, it's probably not going to be used all that much unless you have very heavily magically focused bosses that you're facing. So, make sure you prioritise these, and Forbidden Medicine, Refinement, and Doomtrain is going to be pretty awesome in our party. In terms of junctioning Doomtrain, you're going to want to junction him to your defensive character. So that's the character that will be using Brothers Carbuncle, Leviathan and Tombury. In this case, it's Zell for me. So we're going to throw him on there. Doomtrain. And there we have it. A brand new Guardian Force to add to our collection. We don't actually have a whole lot of new Guardian Forces to collect now, look. See? We've definitely got the vast majority of them, which is pretty awesome. So it just shows we're making good progress. But that's it in terms of what I wanted to do in regards to the optional content. We're now going to be heading back out of this area as we make our way towards the story destination of today's episode, which is the Lunar Gate. So just a little bit north of Tears Point, we can make our way to Lunar Gate. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you didn't get the Marlborough Tentacles before this point, and you wanted to get Solomon's Ring and summon Doomtrain, then you can actually encounter Marlboroughs on these plains here, although they are super rare encounter, but it's a kind of last resort if you did want to get the Doomtrain Guardian Force at this stage, which is the earliest stage we were able to get it, by the way. Don't forget, a quick way to kill Marlboroughs, or at least an easier way, is to use Quistis's Degenerator Limit Break, since that does one-shot them, and they are pesky pain with their status ailments. But anyway, when you're ready, we'll head on into the Lunar Gate and get the typical scene. Well, we will do in a moment anyway. When we head inside the building. Very futuristic looking base this, isn't it? The Lunar Gate. And we can't run at this point, but we can follow the woman here, who will eventually take us into the next area. So of course, to continue, we are going to have to say that we're ready to continue on. Okay, we can choose whatever we want with these responses, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we can pick a third party member at this point. And it doesn't really matter who, in all honesty. So they're not going to be participating in any battles, but they will be obviously not able to join the second party we're soon to be forming. So just bear that in mind, because that party will be going into battles. So I'm just going to stick Irvine in here for now, I think, since I don't use him all that much. And we can chat to some of these other folks here, if we want to. Although we don't really need to, I don't think. When you're ready, you can just make your way to the capsule, or to the lift itself that takes us there. And it looks like Squall is off. That is one big ass moon, it's got to be said. Right, so once you got control of Zell again, we're going to head towards the exit. And it looks like things aren't going too well over at Esther. What the heck is this thing? So it looks like Zell and his friends have got their next mission sorted, while Squall's off gallivanting up in space. We're going to be heading back over to Esther to find out what's going on. Now, you can form a party here, although it's not really forming a party since you have Adir and Zell forced in by default. So you can just stick anybody else in. I'm just going to go for Quistis right now, since she's going to be my defensive character and Zell's going to be my strength-based character. And of course then we can have Adir as our magic user. So we'll give Zell's stuff to Quistis. Zell can take Squall's strength stuff, and then Adir can have selfies. So everybody's junctioned accordingly now at this stage. And the car will be where we left it, so we're going to run back round to it. If I can avoid coming back into the Lunar Gate here. And we need to start heading back over to Esther. And if you remember the entrance to Esther is up north, or round north I should say. Just pause there to tent up and save my game. We're going to be making our way back around to the entrance / exit. I'm just going to drive the car straight in. We can make our way out of the rent-a-car section, and I believe if we head this way we should eventually come to the save point. At least that's the theory. This city can get a little bit confusing. There we go. So you will also rest here, so I didn't need to use that tent. But I'm going to save the game here, guys, and we're going to pick up next time where we will find out exactly what's hovering overhead of the city. And next time we're going to begin by going to Odine's lab, and that will kick off quite a lengthy story section. So make sure your characters are ready for that, including being junctioned and fully equipped, since there will be encounters, unless like me you're using encounter none, of course. But thanks for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time as we continue on with Final Fantasy VIII.